I'm Malcolm Van Delst, and this is an excerpt from Do the Wrong Thing, a book series or extra long novel that opens with a woman trying to kill herself. She says, "I don't know why I tried to do this," and by way of explanation, tells her life story. We were in book 2. Previously in Do the Wrong Thing, Ava learned that she can draw, was awestruck by her first visit to a punk club, gave Philippe a blowjob, had a bad church experience, and in modern times wondered if her mother has Munchausen syndrome by proxy. Next chapter is called Ron. I'm going to rush through this Ron chapter. I've been stuck trying to perfect everything for much too long. I'm driving myself, or is that boring myself, mad? There's going to be a lot of cutting and capsizing of long, dreary passages into short, hopefully still amusing outlines. Ron, Philippe's friend who hangs out in the store, invites me to an evening of folk music. In a room above a bar, a bunch of men and women sit in a circle playing guitars and dulcimers and singing. Everyone is old, at least 35. Ron tells me that Around the Block was designed and decorated by Philippe's ex-girlfriend, who still might be his girlfriend. Berlin-born, Elsa is a few years older than me, in an art school now across the country in Westwood. Philippe and Elsa still get together when she comes home for the holidays, according to Ron. Image of this girl, or woman, swirl in my head as I listen to the dulcimers. I'm surprised that Philip's not the player he's supposed to be. It sounds like he's waiting for his girlfriend/ex-girlfriend to come back or make a decision about him. This girl/woman has to be the source of the store's signage. Maybe she designed the whole place. Laconic Philippe doesn't seem capable of much. Talking, smoking up, dressing in that I don't give a fuck about fashion, and looking at girls. Philippe. He told me his family consists of an older schizophrenic and institutionalized brother, an alcoholic mom, and a dad who left when he was a toddler. Unless Philippe's a different person when he's with Elsa? Maybe he and she created the business together, then she left. I picture Elsa looking like a colorful, bouncy Marlene Dietrich. Around the Block strays towards color, not monochrome. She whirls into the store, kisses Philippe lightly on the lips, checks the merchandise and cleanliness, picks a few items off the racks, then bounces out. Off to the other side of the continent, portfolio swinging in one hand. I want to be Elsa. I attack Ron. He responds immediately. He's 36, overweight on antidepressants, a postman. I'm 21, thin, hot, with my whole life ahead of me, apparently. Ron kisses me, says no, and groans, I can't do this. He does this. Ron's 15-year-old daughter sleeps on the other side of the wall behind the couch where we have sex. We try to be quiet. I love the power I have over Ron. I love that he can't say no. Ron makes me cassettes of obscure bands and albums he thinks everyone should hear. Tom Robinson, for example, and Lou Reed's Berlin, the album with the kids' song on it. They're taking the children away because they said she was not a good mother. That miserable, rotten slut couldn't turn anyone away. In the background, a child wails, "Mommy, Mommy." That gets me more than anything. I can't listen without crying. Ron makes me spaghetti and shakes the noodles with butter and ground pepper before serving them. Ron is on some pretty heavy medication, the fault of his previous girlfriend, he says. She was 23. In the shower, he fucked her in every orifice. She left him to be a politician, or became a politician and then left him. She's an MLA now. She likes high heels, which is strange because I don't. We're not alike at all, Jennifer and I. Ron wears wire rim glasses. His nose and lips are thin, like John's, my boyfriend from the house on Ash Street, the one who punched me. I never see John anymore, not even around campus. Strange. Want to go see Rambo? Ron asks. I laugh and roll my eyes. When's the last time you went to a movie simply for fun? He teases. I stare at him, realizing I haven't been to anything remotely fun since high school, unless you count the never-ending story. Is that the lineup? I'm incredulous. It wraps around the corner from the theater, then all the way around the next block and onto the next. We join it, laughing at our counterculture attendance. Rambo, First Blood, it's awesome. The action, the cheesy love story, the fantasy. It's unbelievable and over the top. That's what I mean by fantasy. We turn to each other in the theater and laugh. As we leave, Ron puts his arms around me. He's wearing his beat-up motorcycle jacket. The leather is soft against my cheek. Next, he insists we see an art house movie, Marianne and Julianne. A German female director and 2 female stars. Pretty cool, eh? He says. It is. Based on a true story, it follows twin sisters who work for women's rights. One is a journalist and one is a radical. The radical wants to leave her son with the journalist, but the journalist refuses, saying her work is important while her sister's hurts the cause. The son ends up in foster care. We go to Concord to see this movie. Ron used to live in Concord. Concord is more culture than Birmingham, he says. It's more everything. I look around at the faces illuminated by the screen, then at Ron. He looks back at me, smiles, puts his arm around me, and pulls me close. I snuggle in, breathe the leather, and go back to the women on screen. Ron's daughter, Persephone, lives with him instead of, he says, her crazy artist mom. Persephone looks just like her dad. She wants to be a ballet dancer, but like him, her body is thick. I can't see this plan working out. I imagine a parade of young women closer to your age than your dad's coming through your home. It's not a comfortable thought. Persephone is smiling and rigid. One day when I go over, she's cutting material for a dance costume. I like scissors, she says. They're sharp. She snaps them together twice, then looks up at me. I smile. She doesn't, then does, and the coldness leaves her eyes. Ron gives me a picture of Persephone, which I put in my wallet. I don't have his. The next chapter, final summer. The end of the school year approaches. I have one last essay to write, but for the first time ever, I can't give the teacher what they want. I have a theory about women filling schools, but afterwards in industry, academics, art, film, blah, blah, blah. It's men, men, and men. Women, like myself, are trained from an early age to acquiesce and keep the peace, soothe. We go to school, tell the teachers what they want to hear, and get amazing grades. We don't fight in parking lots, that time-honored masculine tradition for establishing dominance and cementing friendships. We don't challenge. We don't make statements unless it's, oh, I see what you mean, Mr. or Mrs. Teacher, while we flutter our eyelashes consciously or subconsciously and gaze adoringly. Don't think women don't flutter eyelashes at other women. We do it to everyone. A's are easy when you amplify your teacher's point of view and stroke their ego, but what does it add to the conversation? Women aren't excluded from positions of power entirely because of discrimination. We're excluded because we don't fight. At the beginning of studies in 17th century literature, I was jumping out of my skin at the thought of Paradise Lost. I couldn't wait to study this literally epic poem. Then, not equal as their sex not equal seemed, for contemplation he in valor formed, for softness she in sweet attractive grace. He for God only, she for God in him. His fair large front and eyes sublime declared absolute rule, and hyacinth locks round from his parted forelock manly hung. Clustering, but not beneath his shoulders broad, she, as a veil down to the slender waist, her unadorned golden tresses wore, disheveled, but in wanton ringlets waved. As the vine curls her tendrils, which implied subjection, but required with gentle sway. And by her yielded, by him best received, yielded with coy submission. What the fuck? Professor Highcroft is disappointed by my anger. That was the time, he says. Everyone viewed women and men like that. Don't take it personally, but I do. I've been betrayed by all of literature and higher learning. I can't turn in my standard, oh yes, let's avoid the problems I see and focus on what you like about the work essay. I request an extension. I have to move. I do have to move, but I could have written the essay beforehand. I'm paralyzed. I can't lie anymore, but I can't say what I think either. I have a lot more to lose than my peers. My family won't support me if I fail, and as much as I've professed to wanting to be Bukowski or Dylan Thomas, do I really want to be alcoholic like Carolyn or Gerald? Maybe I'd prefer a job, a career, looking after myself instead of codependence with a husband. And didn't I maybe need a diploma for that?